everybody, it's Anna. Time for the final card in this week's tarot story. So the final card for the week is the Four of Swords reversed. Yesterday we had the Four of Cups, and I mentioned that the number 4 is connected to foundations and having some stability on which you can build. And swords are connected to the mind. So they're about ideas and strategies, communications, that kind of thing. So this card shows this knight in a crypt, which is, so he's dead, right? And we see death showing up a lot in the swords trajectory. That's because death is represented as like a release of the mind, right? So the Four of Swords follows the Three of Swords in its direction. And the number 3, the Three of Swords in the Rider-Waite shows a heart that is pierced with 3 swords. So it's a very struggling, kind of painful, resistant card. Like it's basically the mind something's not going the way the mind expects, and it's having to learn how to make peace with that and say, instead of fighting for it and getting mad about what went wrong, you're going to agree that the intuition's in charge and sort of relax and move along. So when you accomplish the Three of Swords, which is agreeing to the momentum of the intuition, the mind is able to come to this place of relax and release and understanding that says, okay, this is how it's going to go. I'm not going to make any long-term plans or very long plans. I'm going to let the intuition lead, and I'm going to learn how to listen and follow along. So it really is like the mind getting its strategy figured out, that it's not going to be guessing what we're going to do or making the plans. It's going to follow instruction from the intuition. So yesterday's card, as I mentioned, was the Four of Cups, right? Which is about kind of establishing that foundational relationship with the intuition, like letting the intuition, like stepping back from the world so that you can hear the voice of the intuition. And I feel like it's really nice that the Four of Cups is followed by the Four of Swords, because it's like once the intuition's voice is heard, the mind learns how to hear it and learns how to create its own foundation. So, the heart or the intuition is doing one thing, and this is my role, and now I understand it. But this came to us reversed. And that might suggest that the mind is still a little resistant to agreeing to this foundational change. Like it could still be in a little bit Three of Swords territory, which is the mind thinking, yeah, but it'd be better if this happened, or this is really the best path, or shouldn't I hold out for this path? Like almost like it's second guessing the intuition, and it's not quite ready to submit all the way. It still wants to kind of keep its oar in the water a little bit. So as I mentioned earlier with the, I guess it was the moon reversed, the mind is reluctant sometimes to agree. And usually it's reluctant either because it needs some support, or maybe because there actually is some kind of old mindset that it needs clarified. So I talk all the time about speaking to the mind, like figuring out where is the mind getting stuck. We want to assume the mind wants to be on board, because it doesn't really want to be isolated. It doesn't really want to be in charge either. It does kind of like the intuition. It wants to follow, and it likes being magical with the intuition. But so if it's getting stuck, it needs a bit of support. So really taking the time to talk to the mind and ask, what's going on? What are you confused about? What do you need clarification on? What do you need reassurance about? And let the mind tell you. And then from the soul position, which is who we are, right? Offering the resolution. So the mind feels emboldened, feels ready to say, yes, okay, I'm agreeing. This is the foundation. This is the plan moving forward. I'm not in conflict about it. I'm not still struggling with that 3 moment of being resistant. I'm on board. Let's move forward. And that creates that foundation, that solid foundation the mind can then use for the rest of the journey. That's our final card. See you next time.